Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. Today we are going way beyond your typical travel blog. We're diving into, get this, a YouTube video.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. It documents a grandson's journey to Ghana to honor his grandfather's memory.
Oh.
And get this, he's scattering his grandfather's ashes in places that were significant to him.
Wow.
Talk about a powerful tribute, huh?
Yeah, it's really fascinating, isn't it? This video, it's not just a travelogue, is it? It's an exploration of family history, memory, and, that enduring connection between generations.
Absolutely. So the grandson, Eddie, starts his journey in Tema. Now, Tema is Ghana's largest port.
Okay.
And I was surprised to learn that it handles a massive 80% of the country's imports and exports.
Really?
It's a bustling hub of activity. There's a massive fishing market that Eddie even compares to, get this, an Indonesian shark market he once visited.
Oh.
Can you imagine the sights and the smells?
It's quite the comparison, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's a vivid illustration of how, sensory experiences can evoke powerful memories and emotions. And in Eddie's case, the Tema Harbor holds particular significance because his grandfather, an engineer, was actually involved in its construction back in the 1950s and 60s.
So it's not just a random port, it's a place where his grandfather's legacy is literally etched into the landscape.
Precisely. And that connection fuels Eddie's determination to scatter his grandfather's ashes in the harbor.
Okay.
But, as you can imagine, scattering ashes in a major international port,
Yeah.
it isn't exactly straightforward, is it? He runs into some bureaucratic hurdles,
I can imagine.
needing special permission from the government. This is where his resourcefulness comes into play.
Okay.
He finds a local guide named Bismarck to help him navigate the complexities.
Bismarck sounds like a great find.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Having someone who understands the local customs and procedures can be invaluable in situations like this. And let's not forget the bit of humor.
Oh.
That comes with Eddie needing to get a bit creative.
Okay. What did he do?
He ends up disguising the ashes in a tobacco tin
What?
to sneak them past port security.
Oh, I can just picture Eddie trying to explain that one.
It's a moment that adds a touch of lightheartedness amidst the emotional weight of his mission.
It makes you wonder, though, what kind of cultural beliefs and traditions influence those regulations around scattering ashes in Ghana?
Yeah, that's a great point. It highlights how Eddie's personal journey intersects with broader cultural practices and beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
We often see these types of traditions around death and remembrance, influencing how people interact with specific locations.
Yeah, it's a reminder that places can hold deep spiritual and cultural significance far beyond their physical attributes. So, did Eddie actually manage to scatter the ashes in the harbor?
Yes, he does. He eventually gets the necessary permissions and finds a way to fulfill his promise. The video captures the quiet reflection and the powerful sense of connection to his grandfather's legacy as he scatters the ashes in the very harbor his grandfather helped build.
It must have been an incredibly emotional experience.
Oh, absolutely.
It makes you realize how potent these acts of remembrance can be, tying us to those who came before us in such a tangible way. But Eddie's journey doesn't end there, does it?
Not at all. The scattering of the ashes in the harbor is just the beginning. He sets off on a quest to find other locations that were significant in his grandfather's life, armed with just 6 old photographs and the stories his grandfather shared. It's like piecing together a puzzle from fragments of the past.
That sounds like quite the challenge. So where does this historical treasure hunt lead him next?
Well, the first piece of the puzzle leads him to a place called the Garner Club.
Okay.
It was established in 1947,
Okay.
and Eddie believes it might hold a connection to his grandparents.
The Garner Club. It sounds intriguing. Tell me more about this place. What kind of establishment was it?
It seems the Garner Club was a prominent social club back in its heyday.
Okay.
A place where, people from various walks of life would gather for dances, events, social gatherings. Eddie even meets Fritz Bafour, a renowned Ghanaian historian who
Wow.
confirms the club's historical significance.
That's amazing. It's like history is coming alive for Eddie with each step he takes. And to think, he could be standing in the same spot where his grandparents might have danced, decades ago.
Exactly. It's a layering of past and present, memory and action. And this is where the power of visual storytelling really comes in.
Yeah.
Eddie's video allows us to imagine him scattering ashes amidst the club's courtyard and trees, connecting his personal history to this tangible location.
I can see why this video resonated with so many people. It's not just about Eddie's personal journey, it's about how we all connect with history and try to understand our place in the grand scheme of things.
You put it perfectly.
So having paid his respects at the Garner Club, Eddie's quest continues. One of the photos he brought with him captures a scene from Queen Elizabeth II's visit to Ghana in 1961.
Wow.
And guess what? Eddie's grandmother is in the background of the photo.
No way.
Talk about a brush with history.
Yeah.
But I bet pinpointing the exact location after all these years is a bit like searching for a needle in a haystack, right?
You're absolutely right.
Cities change, landscapes evolve.
Mm-hmm. But that's where the warmth and helpful nature of the Ghanaian people shines through. Eddie meets two locals, Samuel and another person, who help him narrow down the possibilities.
I love that. It speaks to the power of human connection and community, even in those fleeting encounters.
Absolutely.
These small acts of kindness can really make a difference in someone's journey, especially one as emotionally charged as Eddie's.
It really does.
And those connections are a big part of what makes this video so compelling. It's not just about Eddie and his family, it's about the people he meets along the way and the impact they have on his experience. So with the Queen's visit location somewhat narrowed down, where does Eddie head to next?
His next goal is to find his grandfather's former house.
Okay.
But that proves to be another challenge because the area has undergone significant redevelopment.
That makes things tricky.
It highlights the tension between progress and preservation.
Mm-hmm.
The way our cities evolve over time, sometimes erasing traces of the past.
It makes you wonder what his grandfather would think of all the changes. So how does Eddie even begin to search for the house if the area is so different?
Luckily, Fritz, the historian, comes through again.
Okay.
He suggests that the house might have been located near a particular roundabout.
So the roundabout becomes a sort of symbolic marker in the landscape of Eddie's grandfather's life.
Precisely. But when Eddie arrives at the roundabout, he realizes it's not exactly the most inspiring spot to scatter ashes.
Right.
However, nearby, he spots something that feels much more fitting. A large, ancient tree.
Okay, I'm curious now. What does he decide to do?
In that moment, Eddie makes a decision that speaks volumes about the symbolic nature of his journey. He chooses the tree as the final resting place for some of the ashes.
Wow, what a powerful image. This ancient tree so deeply rooted in the soil of Ghana, becoming a living testament to his grandfather's lasting presence.
It's a beautiful way to tie together those themes of family, memory, and the enduring power of place.
And it leaves us with a lot to unpack. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back to discuss some of the key takeaways and insights from Eddie's journey.
Okay, I'm still thinking about that ancient tree and how perfectly it symbolizes Eddie's grandfather's connection to Ghana. It really got me thinking about the power of nature as a living memorial.
Yeah, it is an interesting thought, isn't it? We often associate memorials with static objects like statues or plaques, but a living tree introduces this element of growth and change, almost like a continuation of life itself. Absolutely. And speaking of life, let's go back to that bustling fishing market in Tema that Eddie compared to an Indonesian shark market. You know, that comparison really struck me.
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of it?
I think it highlights how, travel experiences can shape our perspectives and inform our understanding of the world. Eddie's previous encounter with the Indonesian shark market provided him with a frame of reference, a way to contextualize the sights, the sounds, and even the smells of Tema's fishing market.
And it also underscores how certain sensory experiences can be powerful triggers for memory and emotion. It's as if the smells and sounds of Tema transported him back to that Indonesian market, creating a bridge between two seemingly disparate places.
Precisely. It's a reminder that our memories are often interwoven with sensory details.
Right.
And in Eddie's case, even the slightly intimidating encounter he had with a barracuda at the Tema market
Oh, yes.
adds a layer of authenticity
The barracuda encounter.
to his experience.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
small detail, but it really stuck with me. It shows that Eddie wasn't just passively observing this culture from afar, you know? He was fully immersed in it, engaging with the locals, and even, facing a few, shall we say, toothy inhabitants.
It speaks to his willingness to embrace the unexpected and to step outside of his comfort zone.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is at the heart of this entire journey. A willingness to push boundaries, to explore the unfamiliar, and to connect with something larger than oneself.
And in doing so, he uncovered these hidden layers of his family history, breathing new life into old photos and stories.
Right.
It makes you wonder what other stories lie dormant in our own family histories, just waiting to be discovered.
It's a reminder that the past isn't just a collection of dates and facts. It's a tapestry of lived experiences, emotions, and connections that continue to shape who we are today. And sometimes all it takes is a single thread,
Yeah.
a photograph, a story to unravel a whole world of meaning.
It's almost like Eddie's journey gave him a tangible connection to his grandfather, bridging that gap between generations.
Exactly. It's a reminder that even in death, our loved ones can continue to inspire us, to explore the world, connect with new people, and uncover hidden layers of our own personal histories.
And sometimes that exploration involves a bit of bureaucratic wrangling, creative problem solving, and maybe even a tobacco tin disguise or two.
Absolutely. Eddie's journey is a testament to resourcefulness.
Right.
And a reminder that life is full of unexpected challenges.
So for our listeners who are feeling inspired by Eddie's adventure, what advice would you give them if they wanted to embark on a similar journey to uncover their own family history? Where should they even begin?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I think the first step is to gather whatever information you can from family members.
Okay.
Old photos, letters, or documents. Talk to your relatives, especially older generations, and see what stories they can share.
Yeah.
You might be surprised by what you uncover.
That's such a good point. Sometimes the most valuable insights come from those personal anecdotes and family lore.
Right.
What else would you recommend?
Well, once you have a starting point, you can start digging deeper.
Okay.
There are tons of resources available online, like ancestry websites, historical archives, and even social media groups dedicated to genealogy.
Those resources can be invaluable for tracing family lines and uncovering historical context. It's amazing how much information is accessible nowadays.
It really is.
Yeah.
And don't underestimate the power of simply visiting places
Oh, yeah.
that were significant to your ancestors. Walking in their footsteps, so to speak, can evoke a powerful sense of connection.
That's what resonated with me so much about Eddie's journey.
Right.
He wasn't just researching his grandfather's life, he was experiencing it, immersing himself in the places, and even the challenges his grandfather might have faced.
And that's where the real magic happens, when we move beyond passive learning and engage with history on a personal, experiential level.
But of course, not everyone has the time or resources to embark on an international adventure like Eddie's. So for those who might be feeling a little overwhelmed by the prospect, what are some smaller, more manageable ways they can start exploring their family history?
There are so many ways to connect with the past without hopping on a plane.
Right.
You could start by simply organizing those old family photos,
Yeah.
labeling them with names and dates, and piecing together the stories behind them. Or maybe try interviewing a relative and recording their memories. Those oral histories are priceless treasures.
I love that idea. Those recordings become family heirlooms that can be passed down through generations.
Right.
And for those who are more visually inclined, what about creating a family tree or even a digital scrapbook?
Those are great options too. A family tree can help visualize connections across generations, while a digital scrapbook can combine photos, documents, and stories in a creative and engaging way.
It's all about finding the approach that resonates with you and sparks your curiosity. And who knows, maybe those small steps will lead to a deeper dive, a full-blown genealogical quest, or even a trip to trace your ancestral roots.
The possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
And ultimately, isn't that what Eddie's journey is all about? Embracing the adventure of discovery, connecting with the past, and finding meaning in the unexpected.
Absolutely. So what stands out to you, our listener, in Eddie's journey? Is it the emotional connection to his grandfather, the thrill of adventure, the cultural immersion, or perhaps the sheer determination to overcome obstacles?
Whatever resonates with you, we hope this deep dive has sparked a sense of curiosity about the world, about family history, and about the power of personal journeys.
Because ultimately, Eddie's story is about more than just scattering ashes. It's about honoring a legacy, embracing new experiences, and finding meaning in the unexpected. And it's a story that invites us to consider our own connections to the past, to the places that have shaped us, and to the people who have left an indelible mark on our lives.
So, as we wrap up our exploration of Eddie's adventure in Ghana, we want to leave you with a thought-provoking question. What piece of family history would you be most interested in exploring?
And how would you go about it? Would you embark on a physical journey like Eddie, or delve into archives and family records?
Would you seek out connections with distant relatives, or simply spend time reflecting on the stories that have been passed down through generations?
These are questions worth pondering because, in the end, exploring our family histories is a way of understanding ourselves better.
And who knows, maybe it will inspire you to embark on your own deep dive into the past.
That tobacco tin.
Oh, yeah.
What a story.
That's a good one.
It really speaks to Eddie's, adaptability
Oh, for sure.
and his ability to think outside the box,
Yeah.
especially when faced with these unexpected obstacles.
Absolutely. And I think it shows that sometimes the best laid plans, need a little improvisation along the way, especially when you're dealing with cultural differences and, bureaucratic procedures.
It's a reminder that sometimes those challenges can lead to the most memorable
For sure.
and meaningful experiences.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should also talk about the humor that Eddie finds along the way.
Yes.
That blend of humor and emotion and cultural exploration, that's what really makes his story so relatable.
Right. It's a good reminder that life is a tapestry of light and shadow, joy and sorrow. And embracing those contrasts is part of what makes it so rich.
And Eddie's story, it's a perfect example of how personal journeys can intersect with broader historical and cultural narratives.
Precisely. By retracing his grandfather's footsteps, Eddie wasn't just uncovering his family history. He was connecting with a specific time and place, a chapter in Ghana's post-independence era.
Yeah. It makes you wonder what his grandfather would think of modern-day Ghana. The bustling Tema harbor, the changes to the landscape, and even those encounters that Eddie had with the people along the way.
It's a beautiful thought, isn't it? To imagine those echoes of the past, resonating in the present, connecting generations through shared experiences and a sense of place.
Absolutely. And that brings us to the heart of what this deep dive is all about. It's not just about Eddie's story.
Right.
It's about the power of personal journeys to illuminate broader themes of history, culture, and human connection.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that our individual stories are interwoven with larger narratives.
Yeah.
And that by exploring those connections, we can gain a deeper understanding of both ourselves and the world around us.
So as we wrap up our exploration of Eddie's incredible journey to Ghana, we want to leave you, our listener, with a final thought.
Okay.
What if instead of simply preserving the past, we sought to actively engage with it?
Interesting.
What if we breathed life into old stories, connected with the places and the people that shaped our families,
Right.
and allowed those experiences to shape who we are today?
It's a challenge, an invitation to step outside of our comfort zones and embark on our own journeys of discovery. To uncover those hidden layers of meaning that connect us to something larger than ourselves.
And who knows what treasures we might uncover along the way, right? New insights, unexpected connections, a deeper appreciation for our own heritage, and perhaps even a renewed sense of purpose and belonging.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Eddie's adventure. We hope it's inspired you to explore your own family history and to embrace the adventure of uncovering the past. Remember, those stories are out there waiting to be discovered.
Until next time, keep diving deep, keep exploring, and keep those questions coming.